Corrections Canada announced the closure of its prison farms as of March 31st this year. And as you know, this topic has generated much debate, especially in this riding, over the past 2 years. So my question, should the prison farms be reestablished? Why or why not? And let's start with Mr. Walton.
They should definitely be reestablished. If we didn't have prison farms, those are the kind of programs we need to make our prison system work better. So the Green Party commits to restarting those farms and improving them, making them organic operations and energy renewable showpieces.
All right, Mr. Hsu.
The Liberal Party of Canada has committed to reopen the prison farms when we form the next government. And I will be the person here in Kingston and the islands that is accountable for that happening. The prison farms are a proven way to rehabilitate prisoners, to make our communities safer, to have prisoners pay their own way by growing their own food. Even in the United States, conservatives in the United States are saying, you know, we have to reduce the population in our prisons to make ourselves safer, to reduce costs. They're even building prison farms in the United States. So, you know, the experience shows that it is an effective, cost-effective way to rehabilitate prisoners and make our communities safer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hsu. And Mrs. Gordon?
I'm afraid that the cost of the prison farms is very high. It costs more to produce the food in the prison than have the food brought into the prison. And the prison is competing with our local farmers who we have in our area. And there are rehabilitation programs available. I made some phone calls. There's level 1 and 2 carpentry, which actually the prisoner will get a piece of paper for and be able to go out and get a job. There are trades like welding, upholstery. It's so important that our prisoners get an education and get training where they can go out and actually work and get a job and get paid with a skill that will bring those sorts of things to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Gordon. And Mr. Beals?
Thank you, Bill. I'm really glad this question was asked because this is an issue that I've been working very hard on for the last 2 years, really. And it's one that I'm very passionate about. To me, what it comes down to is, in the beginning, this decision was made, and we were just told we were going to live with it. When we tried to consult with the federal government, with Corrections Canada, on why the decision was made, we were never given a very straight answer. And we've yet to see any literal paper proof of what's going on. Now, you know, in the last month and a half, we even have parliamentarians coming together and demanding that the federal government produce proof for us, an independent study on why this was done. They can't produce this proof, and they seem unwilling to do it. What I want to know is, you know, 2 years with no proof, that generally means that proof is not there. For all the reasons Mr. Walton said earlier, these were effective programs, and we need to keep them, and I'm committed, very much so, to restarting the prison farm program, and so is the NDP.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beals. Okay, now's a chance for rebuttal to anything that the other candidates have said on this topic, on the fate of the prison farms. Who wants to go first?
I'd like to go first.
All right, Mr. Hsu.
I agree with what Mr. Beals has said. There was a secret report from Corrections Canada to the ministers. The House of Commons asked to see that report to understand the costs and benefits, of the prison farm system, so that we could really look at the numbers and evaluate whether it was worth having the prison farms or not. But the Harper government said, no, you can't have that. It's secret. What kind of government is that?
Okay, Mrs. Gordon.
Well, I'm not aware of anything secret, just so I'd like to point that out. I'm aware that the program cost $4 million, and I'm aware that 300 prisoners were involved in the program, and 1 prisoner out of 5 years was able to find a job on a farm. I can tell you I farmed. I grew up on a farm. And, you know, we had to sell our farm due to the economics of farming in Eastern Ontario. It's declined. It's sad, but it's true. And if there were farmers asking for prisoners to work on their farms, then I'm sure it would make sense to keep the program
Okay,
going.
Thank you, Mrs. Gordon. I'm going to get Mr. Walton in
Prisoners still have to eat, and it does not make logical sense that free labor in a farm would be cheaper or be more expensive than a farm that has to pay labor costs. So until we see the numbers, I think the conservative justification this is more expensive is not acceptable. The other thing that really bothers me is this community has 7 federal penitentiaries. This community understands how prison farms work and also understands how it does a lot more than just specific job employment. For the federal government to ignore the will of the people of Kingston was a disgrace. And I think that's the real issue.
Okay, and Mr. Beals?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, with regard to what Alicia said earlier, I mean, the value of farming, I mean, you said you grew up on a farm yourself. Obviously, the skills there were at least contributed somewhat to creating a future Conservative candidate. So there must be some skill level that was, you know, some value there for that. I do want to respond also to what Ted said about the Liberal Party. I mean, we had the federal Liberal leader in here just yesterday, and he was very iffy on whether the Liberal Party was committed. I'm glad you're going to be accountable for that. But I wish that we were seeing something a little more solid from Mr. Ignatieff when he came to town as far as committing to reopening the farms.
Okay.
He said he'd look at the possibility.
Okay. We're running out of time on this chance for rebuttal. I know a lot of it is directed at the Conservative Party, Mrs. Gordon, so I'll give you one chance to, quick one, to just to rebut that.
I agree with Daniel. Mr. Ignatieff was in town, and he said that he would, you know, reopen the prison farms. Well, it's easy to say that you're going to promise to do something like that, but at the end of the day, will it really happen?